Hello my followers and welcome back to another episode of A View from the Loft post-match review with me, P-Block Scudze. Now yesterday we travelled to the Valley to take on Charlton, who had previously won their game against Hull away 1-0, whereas we were going into this game off the back of a defeat against Barnsley, losing 1-0 at the QPR. So with Charlton being another relegation threatened side, it wasn't going to be an easy test, and it was proven so. We lost 1-0. I will talk about it in depth. I'm still going to give the players ratings, but for now, let's just look at the highlights and see what went wrong. So before we get into the highlights, let's have a quick look at the starting 11 against Charlton. And there was only one major change, with Jeff Cameron coming in for Luke Amos. Amos dropped to the bench. This was something that everyone pretty much knew would happen anyway. And we also managed to gain 2 extra subs for the full quota of 9 substitutes, with Osman KK and Joe Gubbins coming in onto the bench. The only noticeable absentee was Lee Wallace. It wasn't said as to why he wasn't on the bench today, but I'm sure it was just a tactical thing rather than an injury. Okay, we start off with quite an early chance for us. We did come out the traps, looking to have a high tempo in this game, and I thought, oh, this could be something easy. He was a bit unlucky there to shoot wide. It would have been better if he had scored that quite early on, because I think that would have definitely helped with our tempo, and getting the goal, we would have then really gone and tried to get the second goal and really try and put the game to bed. And then here comes their goal, and to me, Pratley was just he was free. It was a free header for him. No one really marked him properly. I thought Kelly was really unlucky to not be able to save that. It was a very last minute, hand on the ball. And I think he tried to push it as far wide as possible, but unfortunately, just the pace of the ball meant he pushed it onto the post and it went in. And yet again, 12 minutes in, and we've conceded a goal. These early goals need to stop, because the rest of the game then we're just chasing. And then this part, we was trying to do a high line from the back. We almost got caught out here. Brilliant save from Kelly, because if that got past him, that was definitely going in the net to make it 2-0. And then this chance, oh my God. This was in the second half and we were playing really well, and then this. What the hell was that? The ball's come over there to Hugill. You put your laces through it. You put as much power up as you can behind it and keep it low. That way it will go into the net. Instead, he's tried to side foot it, and he's only going to side foot it at the keeper. It's just not good enough from a striker's point of view. And I asked yesterday on Instagram about, there was an old age question of if Easy went to West Ham, will we take Hugill in return? Well, we all know the answer now, and that is no, because just recently he has just been so poor, really has been poor. And here comes another chance. Again, nice bit of starting to build it up. And the thing was though, Charlton had parked the bus by this point. You can see how many players are in there, and Manning really unlucky with that shot, just for it to go past the post. Much better game from him. Then they had this corner right towards the end. And that was pretty much an easy save for Kelly. They literally had one or two more chances. They then being 1-0 up, they weren't too worried about getting the second. But here again, great save from Kelly, and and so that was it. Another defeat since we've come back from the lockdown, and again we've lost 1-0, and again it's to a team that was relegation threatened. Oh, okay, well, let's have a look at the stats anyway. So let's have a look at the stats. Yet again, we have more possession in this game, but it just goes to show that it was all well and good having possession, but we just didn't create enough chances. I mean, one shot on target the whole game. It's not good enough for a side with some really good attacking players. Passing was better with 84%, which is It's good to see on paper, but we need these passes to be making chances, and clear-cut chances. It was that man again, Jordan Hugill, who missed it, and only getting one corner out the whole game. It just goes to show we just didn't try and test them enough. And again, we won more tackles here, especially in the air once again. So defensively, apart from the goal, we did all right. And so with the fouls, it's even. Although we should have won a lot more. The referee, I felt, did go missing in the second half when it came to giving us free kicks that were quite blatant, to be honest. And again, only one solitary yellow card. So now we've looked at the stats, let's have a look at my ratings for the players. Liam Kelly. I gave Liam a 6. I felt he played really well, made some really good saves, was really unfortunate with the goal. He had got a hand to it, it was just, I believe, it was the last minute reaction. So yeah, I thought he was unlucky, but other than that, I thought he had a really good game. Rangel Angel. I gave Rangel a 5. It was a lot better performance than last week, but still with the passes. This time, the passes were making the players because he was hitting them so hard at them. It wasn't quite the perfect game for Rangel, but an average one. He kept their winger quiet anyway, so yeah. Connor Masterson. Again, I gave Connor a 5. I felt like it was a very average game. A couple of times he got caught out of position when we were playing the high back line. But other than that, it was really just an average game for Connor, and not a lot else to talk about on that. Johan Barbe. Again, the same for Barbe. I gave him a 5, purely on the basis of, again, it was another average game. And yet again, as captain, I just felt like he didn't talk a lot to the players. He does need to step that side of it up, and I think that will help improve his game as well as everyone else around him. Ryan Manning. Manning, I gave a 6. Now that is a considerably lot better than last week, because last week he was really poor, but in this game I felt he was so much better. He got back to being that player that we know he can be, and he did have a chance, as we saw, and also I felt like he controlled the ball better and made better runs and tried to help with creativity going forward. Jeff Cameron. I gave Jeff a 4. It was his first game back since the lockdown, and obviously last week being suspended. It wasn't a brilliant game for him. He didn't really seem to have much effect on the game. So yeah, other than that, it's very average for him, and that's why I'm going to give him a 4. Dominic Ball. I also gave Dominic a 4. I felt like, compared to last week, he was really poor in this game. He just didn't seem to be on the ball, excuse the pun, most of the time, and just seemed a bit lost out there, so it wasn't a great game for him at all. Elias Chair. Now Elias, I gave a 7. I felt that he had a really good game compared to last week. He made so many good runs and was trying to make chances and create movements. I was really surprised when Warburton took him off, because at the time I felt like he was our best player, especially in the second half. Bright Osei Samuel. Samuel, I had to give a 3. This was a very poor game from Osei. He just looked disinterested. He didn't really make good runs. He seemed to, not let the players know where he wanted the ball. So when they make the pass, it would be behind him rather than in front. Just a really, really poor game from Bright. Ebery Easy. Easy, I gave a 5. Again, a very average game for him. Had a couple of chances, but didn't take them. His shooting at the moment seems to be really off. A few times, he was trying to create stuff, but I felt like he was just running into trouble all the time, especially the way that Charlton had, parked the bus. So, average game. Wasn't bad, but wasn't great. Jordan Hugill. Well, I'm surprised I'm even giving him a 1 after yesterday's performance. He just seemed non-existent throughout the game, and then the one moment that we needed him to step up and get the R's level, he absolutely fluffed his lines. That shot was so tame, it was ridiculous. Very poor game from Jordan, and I'm surprised he managed to last the whole game without being subbed off. Olamide Shodipo. Shodipo came on yet again in the second half, and I gave him a 6. Yet again, he was working so hard up and down the line, trying to create some sort of chance. And yeah, I do think that maybe it would be wise to start him against Fulham on Tuesday night. Very good game from him. Luke Amos. Luca gave a 3, gave the ball away a lot when he did come on, but other than that, he just doesn't seem to ever add anything to our game. I'm not a massive fan of Amos in our team. I just don't think he fits in very well. I don't really see what he adds to the team. So yeah, very poor game for him when he did come on. Todd Kane. Kane, I had to give a 2. He was just dire when he came on. He gave the ball away a lot, and I don't know why he thinks he can take on defenders like he's a winger. He hasn't got the pace to take on and get past these defenders on the wing. And then when he does get past them, or had the chance to cross, it's just so weak. It's not even a decent cross. So yeah, very poor, and he's definitely not one of my first choices when it comes to the team. Aramide Ote. Yeah, Ote I gave a 4, and that's not a harsh 4 either. He just didn't have much game time really when he came on to make much of a difference. But you could see he was trying to get involved. He was trying to help create something. But when you've got partnered with Hugill, and Hugill's not even making the moves, then it makes your job a lot harder. So again, I'd like to see more of him. I reckon he could come good in the end. Faisal Batashi. Now Faisal, I gave a 5. I thought he came on and made a difference again. He was another one who's really trying hard to create something, to create a chance for us to try and score. I'd actually seen him previously when he was on loan at Billericay, and yeah, he was a very good player for them in that game. And I can see him having a real impact going forward with our squad. Again, I'd love to see more of him, and I think he's going to be a game changer soon. So yeah, that was my player ratings. It's one of those yesterday that I did go into the game feeling nervous because of how we performed against Barnsley, and the fact that with Charlton they were in a similar boat of fighting to get out of the relegation zone. As soon as we kicked off, we really did have a different tempo. The players looked a little bit more like they were back with the high tempo, back being a bit more of a team, and create a chance early on, and that was great. But then after the goal, again so early on, it was just pulling teeth sometimes. With some of the chances that we had, well, very little chances I should say, or having that build-up play, and and having no end product, no end result from any of it. It was good to see that some players had stepped up from last week. I was really surprised in the second half with Warburton bringing off Chair before Osei, because Chair actually, I'd say, being our best player up until that point. He was really looking to force the issue of getting the goal. But Osei, I would say, very poor game, and Hugill. It's one of those now. I'm getting sick of talking to people about him and not being happy with his performances. And as a striker, it's a number one rule that you should be putting your foot through the ball in order to get the goals. But yeah, I was really impressed with the subs when they came on. It just goes to show that the younger players do have that hunger and will to show they can offer something to the team. And I think now that we know that we're definitely not hitting the playoffs, it would be good to see them play more than say half a game or less than that. I would actually start saying, right, if you want to prove that you're good enough to be in this starting 11 from the get-go, then here's your chance now for next season. But again, Charlton had their game plan. They knew what they needed to do. They got the goal, and then they literally parked the bus. And I don't blame them. It's not a moan at all, because at the end of the day, when you're in that situation and you're 1-0 up, and the team you're playing isn't really offering too much in terms of fighting back, then you're going to park the bus. You're going to get the 3 points just off of that. So yeah, credit to Charlton there. But now, next up, we have Fulham at home, and I'm really, really not looking forward to it. It's sad enough that we can't be there, because the crowd will make the difference in that game, especially on our turf as well. but after these last two defeats and the fact that unfortunately Fulham are up there, and they've suffered two defeats, they're definitely going to be wanting to get some retribution from that. And if we don't pull our socks up and start taking these chances, having a shot outside the box, then we are going to get I don't even want to say it, but it's not going to look good basically, and I really am worried about Tuesday night. But the one thing I will say is that I really wish the players would show a bit more fight. I know there's only a few games left, and I know there's been the disruption of the 3 months off through the lockdown, but at the end of the day, we were 6 points off the playoffs. Now, I personally didn't believe we would get into the playoffs anyway, but at least try and finish as high as possible. Don't look like you're ready to go on your holidays, or that you just can't be bothered because there's nothing to play for. In the Championship, there's always something to play for, and even if that's pride, I'd like to see a bit more pride from the players, in terms of their performances. And someone had said to me yesterday about Warburton, and I said that at the moment he just looks disinterested. He doesn't seem to look like he wants the team to do well, or it's a hard one. I'm not going to slate him by any means, because I think he has done really well with us so far, and going forward I think he will. But I think at the moment he's another one. I was only a few games. As long as go out there and then fine. But I'd like to see him a bit more interested in what the team's doing at the moment. And if you're coming out with the same excuse as to the previous defeat, then you're the one that has to change that. You're the one that has to get it through to the players in terms of this is what we need to be doing. So it wasn't a good day. I've got a few friends that are Charlton fans, and they one of them, she gave me a lot of grief. Luckily, I like her. She's a good, very good friend of mine. But so that wasn't fun having three people giving it to me left, right, and centre. So now anyway, after my post-match video yesterday on Instagram, there was quite a lot of comments. So I now want to just go through these comments and see if you guys agree with what they were saying. So the first comment came from Jonesy_legend4, where he asked, why the hell did Warburton bring Chair off? He has literally no clue. QPR.memes, players seem like they have no passion for the club anymore. QPR Source said, rapidly falling out of love with football. Tom_Bishop10, another shocking performance, no fire, no urgency, just pure shit. JWall91, we should have got forward quicker and gone wide earlier. Ryan D QPR, Chair was the only one running, all the rest just want a paycheck. Louis DVB12 said, Chair will score a hat-trick and have man of the match and still get taken off. I seriously think Warburton and the coaches don't do any defensive sessions. CTux03, just see out the season and go again with a reformed team. It's difficult being mid-table after the break as there's no motivation with no objective. Just bring through some youth and see who's good and who isn't. Then there'll be fresh faces hungry to perform, e.g. Owens, Patashi, etc. BJRN.Schneider87, 60% possession of the ball, ridiculous 3 shots fired and none of them on goal. Poor performances again. Now, a favourite follower of mine, he always comes back with some good feedback and comments. Couldn't agree with you more, buddy. Mid-table mediocrity doesn't excuse Hugo's clueless forward play, the lack of shots on target, or the endless shoddy schoolboy passes. We lack true leaders on the pitch who would not allow our so-called stars to check out with so many games to go. And then J_Superhoops_Stevenson, don't know what's going wrong with the likes of Bright, Elias and Easy. We've got no excuse not to at least be creating lots of chances, whether they are taken or not. This team has had the fighting spirit and attacking football all season. What's changed? Did Grant Hall really make that much of a difference? So there you go, guys. That was my post-match review of our game away at Charlton yesterday. I'm still disappointed in it all. But anyway, let me know if you agree with my player ratings and my views on the game, or if you felt differently. Either way, just let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you did like this video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos. Well, next up we have Fulham on Tuesday, so I'll be seeing you very soon. I don't know if I want to, but we'll see. You never know, that we might have a miracle. But other than that, as always, come on you R's.